Leading by example, standing for what's right. Gather around, it's time to unite. Join the revolution. From the City of Angels, Do Good, Be Great Radio starts right now.
Celebrating the good. From the City of Angels, a better life begins here. Join the revolution.
The revolution.
From dogoodbegreat.com. The Weight Wire radio show. Weight Wire. Now.
So good. From sunny Southern California, this is the Do Good, Be Great podcast with Wade Heath.
A new week is upon us, which means you and I, we have a new opportunity to help someone that had no idea we were coming to their aid. What's happening, do-gooders, and welcome to the official podcast of Do Good, Be Great. My name is Wade, and I'm the host of this party for a better tomorrow. It is called The Wade Wire. And it's designed to help inspire us to lead by example. I say us because you got to remember, I'm no expert. I am not a professional. Nope, I am simply a guy looking to leave today greater than I found it. And I am honored to have you alongside me in the journey. If you're new to the show, I say, hey, thanks for taking a chance on us. Might I encourage you to join up with the Do Good Nation on Facebook. We are well over 20,000 standing strong in the Do Good Army. We're just waiting on you, so come on. Now is the time to show everyone just how powerful our light can be when united with other do-gooders around the world. You can join up now by searching Do Good Be Great on Facebook and be uplifted every day in your newsfeed. By the way, if by the end of this broadcast you like what you've heard, might I encourage you to pass along the program to anyone that might appreciate it. Any other do-gooder that you know who may need a reminder that they are not alone. The simple share button click is all it takes to illuminate the lives of others. You know, we grow every week because of you, and seriously, I have been able to meet some of the greatest people recently who say they listen every Tuesday. It means so much to us. So if you'd like to ensure that you never miss a future show, just subscribe. Go on over to iTunes, search Do Good Be Great, and you got hope coming at you at the beginning of every week, just like that. Well, friends, I wanted to share with you something that happened to me recently as I was in a hurry and trying to get in and out of a major retailer one night last week. You see, I was so busy that day. It's so much going on with work, but I knew I had to pick up some groceries and goodies that they're going to be needed in the coming days at home. So I walked into the store, and I don't know what was going on, but it was packed. I don't know. It was a Thursday night. That is not the night I would normally expect a store to be filled with people, but Thursday night, completely packed, and there were people everywhere. My intention was to just grab a handbasket since I only really needed a few items, but as luck would have it, all of the hand baskets were gone. Not to worry, I thought to myself. I know this particular store always sets up hand baskets around the sales floor in front of all of the major departments. So I began to walk through the store, darting and dodging all of the customers, just trying to locate one of the racks I knew was nearby. Went ahead, turned a corner, and boom! Empty. That's all right. It's okay, I thought to myself. It must be really busy. So I kept moving to the next major department and turned that corner. Boom! Empty again. Are you kidding me? I thought to myself. I then proceeded to walk around the entire sales floor perimeter, searching for these dang hand baskets. And they hadn't been refilled anywhere. I learned this after the entire lab. So, of course, I go all the way back to the front of the store, grab a shopping cart, and charge back onto the floor. Only this cart has a wheel issue and continues to make a kerclunk, kerclunk, kerclunk with every wheel spin. Trying to ignore it before it became an irritation, I headed into the market section and located the first aisle that I needed. Well, apparently everyone in the store also felt as though they too needed butter and yogurt because it felt like that's where they were, right on the same aisle. So many people, in fact, that I tucked my cart to the side at the end of the aisle just so it was out of the way, and then I walked in. As I approached the items I wanted, I quickly realized that they were empty shelves. No, not that all the shelves were empty, but that only the things I was looking for happened to be missing from the shelf. Their labels were there, though, so I knew they hadn't been moved. They were just out. Flustered, I began to march back to the end of the aisle to retrieve my cart. When I came around the corner, it was no longer where I had left it. I looked up and down the aisle. Nothing. Someone jacked my cart. Oh, come on! I began to fume inside my head. Now, power walking back up to the front of the store again, I looked over to find that now all of the shopping carts were gone, and the only employees in sight were the ones behind registers with long lines. Seeing as how no one was concerned about the great shopping cart debacle, I was determined to just get a handbasket at all costs. So I did something I had never done before. I stalked the front lanes. Yeah, I walked around each register as people were making their purchases, and after a few minutes I saw a man with a handbasket, finally, and as soon as he had removed everything from it, I swooped in. "May I take that handbasket from you?" I said swiftly. "Oh, yeah, go ahead," the man said, pushing it over to me. Grabbing it, I once more pressed onto the sales floor, but I went to a different part of the marketplace, this time to grab my coffee. When I arrived, well, wouldn't you know it, crowds again. But this time I maneuvered my way through them and reached the section with ease. And then I saw it. My coffee was there, but not as I prefer it. You see, it was only available in decaf. The space for regular coffee was a black hole. As my irritation level rose, someone behind me accidentally hit my heel with their cart. And no, they didn't even say sorry. At this point, my planned short trip into the store had become a drawn-out setback of disappointments and frustration. Walking away from the aisle with my handbasket, I clipped a corner display and brought down a few boxes of sugar packets. "No freaking way!" I said aloud this time. The commotion, along with my outburst, drew the attention of several people in the area. I picked up the boxes and hastily shoved them back on their display. Over the entire experience, with angry thoughts raging through my mind, I started to forge a path back to the front of the store. I am not doing this tonight, I thought to myself. Just as I was passing the front registers, a woman approached me and said, "Hi, if you were done with that basket, we were hoping we could use it next. It doesn't look like there are any more, and Austin likes holding it when we shop for him." She moved out of the way, and there sat a 7-year-old boy in a wheelchair, wearing a Make-A-Wish shirt. He looked tired, but happy to be at the store, getting ready to buy himself some much-deserved toys. "Oh, yeah," I muttered. Of course." "Thank you," his mother responded. "We try to make these trips as quick as possible since it takes so much out of him." She looked back at me. "His immune system is really weak, and we're spending what time he has left doing what he wants to do," she said, her voice cracking at the stark meaning of her words. "What are you going to get today?" I asked in Austin's direction. "The new Matchbox cars. The whole new set," he said with a smile. "Good for you, buddy," I responded. The mother thanked me again, and off they went into the store. I stood there feeling like a total jackass. Here I was just minutes prior, ready to chuck that freaking handbasket across a register. I was so near irate. And then Austin comes into my life and reminds me just how trivial and ridiculous my misguided emotion was. "They're busy," I laughed at myself. "I can always come back tomorrow morning." And I did just that. And what do you know? It was a perfect visit where everything was stocked, the place was empty, and they had plenty of handbaskets. Here's the thing. When you get yourself worked up over something, try to pause and remember how good you have it, how good things really are, how fortunate you are, and how easy life is for you. I mean, it's clear, when things are just a little less convenient for me, I start to boil over. Even in telling you this story, I mean, I sound like a baby, don't I? I sound like I said it. I sound like a jackass. It was all until I met Austin and was reminded that, what's important isn't convenience. It's your own inner peace. It's knowing that you are blessed beyond belief with so many opportunities, with so much. So the next time inconvenience comes into your life, smile at it and remember there are folks like Austin out there who know the meaning of inconvenience, who know the meaning of not having everything that we are fortunate to have. And I guess the moral of the story there is never go shopping with me. I'm just kidding. Hey, next up is our interview of the week. This segment is a great one. We talked to Alex Radelich. Oh yeah, the founder of an organization called ARC Project Now, where his mission is to create an epidemic of kindness around the world. He is so committed to his cause, he dropped out of college to pursue it full time. I know, right? We talk about that and so much more. What led him to this decision, why he's doing what he thinks he was supposed to be doing all along, and a heck of a lot more. He's already received national attention and has some huge plans ahead for the organization. It is an uplifting discussion you do not want to miss. We learn to be better together next on the Do Good Be Great podcast. Stay with us.
For a better tomorrow starts right here. As part of the Do Good Be Great network, you're locked on to the Wade Wire with Wade Heath.
It's been said that friends are the family you choose. They're the ones who stand by your side when you need it most. In tonight's Making a Difference report, a lesson in friendship from two people who can't really be called old friends. At Central Elementary in Union, Missouri, the best teachers may just be two students.
Hi, Mr. Camera.
They are both individually incredible.
First graders Vincent Butterfield and Zach Gossage are very good friends and often very silly.
Why does the chicken cross the playground?
Why?
To get to the other slide.
But recently, there wasn't a lot to laugh about.
It was terrifying.
Last June, after feeling ill and tired for weeks, Zach was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a fast-growing cancer of the white blood cells.
As a parent, you want to make sure that nothing bad ever happens to your child, and when something does, you want to be able to fix it. And I couldn't.
Still, while everybody around him took it hard, Zach took it in stride. Despite frequent trips to the hospital, he almost never missed a day of school.
Because I get to play with Vincent outside at recess.
As for Vincent, he started asking questions and learning about cancer.
It's when your white blood cell and your red blood cell fight.
Then he learned that Zach's treatments were expensive.
We had been making these scarves just like this, and he just kind of said it would be cool if we could make a whole bunch of these and sell them.
He sold more than 20, earning a couple of $100.
You raised $200? That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and who did you give it to?
Zach.
Vincent also found out that Zach might lose his hair because of the chemotherapy treatments.
I have a dream.
So one day he showed up to Mrs. Kester's first grade class wearing a stocking cap.
And he said, Mrs. Kester, I have a surprise for Zach. And I said, well, you do? And he said, yes, I do. And he pulls off his stocking cap, and here I see that he shaved his head.
I cut it off.
You cut off your hair? How
Yeah.
come?
to make Zach feel like he's not the only one without any hair.
Come on in.
Zach continues to get treatments and continues to come to school every day.
He comes in and you say, how are you? And he says, fine.
And Vincent? Well, he may be young, but he's teaching us the oldest lessons. What is friendship? What is friendship?
A beautiful thing.
Indeed it is.
Hi, hi, hi.
Clearly, wisdom doesn't always come with age.
Okay, let's go.
I could tell right away from a very young age that she was one of those creative, artistic souls. And I've heard people say, wow, if Isabel can do it, I can do it. I take Isabel with me to volunteer work. She really loves helping out with the rabbits. And she's come to know about some of the issues that they face. So with that natural childlike compassion, her first instinct is, I want to do something to help. So she decided she should use her talent for drawing animals to bring in some money for the rescue. I thought she would raise $100. I thought maybe a few of our friends would sort of humor her. Next thing I knew, word was spreading all over, and everybody wanted a pet portrait by Isabel. Before we knew it, she had done about 300 portraits all told. It just sort of went crazy. When they see Isabel's drawings, they're seeing something really honest. They're seeing their animal through the eyes of a child. They'll say, wow, you really captured my dog's personality. He's such a funny guy, you know. You really nailed it. Almost every day I get people asking me, well, when's she going to do another one? This project has had a big impact. She gave the largest donation from a single person that the shelter's ever got. Well, I think that's such a wonderful lesson that creativity can change the world, that everybody has something that they can contribute. It's really, really cool to see that lesson come from her.
Last August, I was told that in all likelihood I had 3 to 6 months left to live. I'm on month 9 now. Somebody said to me, in light of those numbers, wow, so you're really beating the Grim Reaper. And what I said without even thinking about is that we don't beat the Reaper by living longer. We beat the Reaper by living well and living fully. For the Reaper will come for all of us. The question is, what do we do between the time we're born and the time he shows up? Because when he shows up, it's too late to do all the things that you're always going to kind of get around to. So I think the only advice I can give you on how to live your life well is, first off, remember, it's a cliche, but I love cliches. It is not the things we do in life that we regret on our deathbed. It is the things we do not. Because I assure you, I've done a lot of really stupid things, and none of them bother me. All the mistakes and all the dopey things and all the times I was embarrassed, they don't matter. What matters is that I can kind of look back and say, pretty much any time I got a chance to do something cool, I tried to grab for it. And that's where my solace comes from. The second thing that I would add to that, and I didn't coordinate on the subject of this word, but I think it's the right word that comes up, is passion. And you will need to find your passion. Many of you have already done it. Many of you will later. Many of you may take till your 30s or 40s. But don't give up on finding it, right? Because then all you're doing is waiting for the reaper. Find your passion and follow it. And if there is anything I have learned in my life, you will not find that passion in things. And you will not find that passion in money. Because the more things and the more money you have, the more you will just look around and use that as the metric, and there will always be someone with more. So your passion must come from the things that fuel you from the inside. And in my experience, no matter what you do at work or what you do in official settings, that passion will be grounded in people. And it will be grounded in the relationships you have with people and what they think of you when your time comes. And if nothing else, I hope that all of you can find that kind of passion and that kind of love in your life. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. That's enough. Thanks, but not really. Let's move on from all of this inspirational garbage and start talking about evil plans for a sec. I'm sorry, what? We need to move on. Now I suppose there's going to be a positive frickin' interview with some ridiculously happy outcome. Tell Wade to watch his frickin' back. This positivity won't last forever.
From topics of the day to purpose-driven people and uplifting events, news, entertainment, insight, and enlightenment. Let's learn to be better together. Part of the Do Good, Be Great network. It's time for the Wade Wire interview of the week. And now, here's
Welcome
Wade.
back, Do-Gooders. Earlier this year, you heard us talk with someone who decided to walk across America in search of kindness. Well, today, we talk with someone different who decided to commit their life to not searching for it, but making the concept of kindness an epidemic. Alex Radelich is the founder of ARC Project Now, and he joins us with his inspiring undertaking. Alex, it is great to have you on the Do Good, Be Great podcast.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am delighted you could make time for us and just to share some of your story here. And before we launch off, we always like to ask everybody, can you share with us 3 things that bring you joy in life?
Yeah. Oh, you caught me off guard. I guess my top 3, I love like late night walks and deep connections with honestly anybody, stranger or a friend. That's one thing that's been happening recently that I've just fallen in love with. It's just deep connections. We'll go with number 2. I love spreading kindness and making people's day. And the third one is I love challenging people to go out of their way to make somebody else's day, because there's so many opportunities throughout your day-to-day life to just change somebody else's day, week, or life.
Now, you say you like long walks in the middle of the night. Where is it that you walk to in the middle of the night?
So I live in a big neighborhood. It's probably about a mile south of the RV Hall of Fame. And I kind of just go with friends. And it's like, I don't know, we're kind of night owls. So it ends up being 1 o'clock in the middle of the night. And we're just like, let's go for a walk. And it ends up almost always just being like a life-changing talk. It's incredible.
Isn't there something about, I completely agree with you, that time frame in the middle of the night, is there not something bizarre that happens, I would say, between like 1 and 3:30 in the morning where everything becomes more clear? I don't know if it's just because everybody's exhausted or the filter is gone, but everything becomes more clear when you talk with friends at that time, and suddenly you just start to solve all the world's problems.
I deeply believe in what you just said. there's something about the middle of the night that's, I don't know, like this whole project that I created happened in the middle of the night between college classes, and there's definitely something about the middle of the night.
I have had the exact same experiences myself, where I've been together with, some friends, and it's, the darkness of night, nobody's stirring anywhere else but us, and man, if we don't just feel on fire. There's something to that. Somebody, get a scientist on this. Hurry. Okay. Alex, you are the founder of the nonprofit known as ARC Project now. Firstly, what do the letters even mean? What do they stand for in ARC, A-R-K?
Yep. So ARC is an acronym that stands for Acts of Random Kindness, and that is exactly what we do, actually. We find it best to go out of our way to impact someone else's day. But not only that, our mission statement is to inspire an epidemic of kindness, because we understand that the guys on the team, we're only 5 or 6 guys, so we have 10 to 12 hands between us. But if we can inspire other people to go out of their way to impact someone else's life, then, we can change the world.
And it's a brilliantly noble idea. How was it born? Where did it come from?
So it was my freshman year at Purdue University, which was in 2012, so a couple of years ago. And I just finished my first semester. I was waiting for my parents to pick me up because as a freshman, you're not allowed to have a car.
Huh.
And I was just chilling on my dorm room couch watching the cheesiest movie to get inspired by, which happens to be Evan Almighty. There's a
inspiration,
scene,
yes.
Yeah, there's a scene at the end where Morgan Freeman's playing God, or the role of God, and he answers the question, how do we change the world? And he says, with one act of random kindness at a time. And I still don't know what it is, but for some reason that really spoke to my heart. And I've always been passionate about helping people. This just led me in a direction to take my passion.
So Morgan Freeman moved you.
Morgan Freeman moved me, absolutely.
As he does with everyone when he opens that mouth of his, he's just, he's the narration of our life. He really is. He's incredible. You know what? And so you just take a step back here. You said you were looking to be inspired that night, so you watched Evan Almighty. Did you? What was going on that night?
I don't know. I was going through this weird phase or season of life where I got really into movies. I've always loved cinematography and videography, so I'd actually break down the movies and try and decipher why the director would decide this shot over this shot and this angle and why it's a lower angle and close quarters and stuff like that. And then Evan Almighty came on, and I was like, okay, this is not a serious movie. I don't have to dissect it. And I don't know, I just finished my first semester at school, and I was trying to figure out, is this for me right now? And then he hit me with that line, and it was, I wish I could explain that feeling I had once he said, how do we change the world one act of random kindness at a time? Because it just, I don't know, it was like I knew it was for me.
Said by God, played by Morgan Freeman. That's, maybe, that's incredible. That's incredible to me. Now, where was this is in sort of the same vein as that, where was your life headed before you felt that rush, that burning passion to make this move?
So my declared major at Purdue was radiological health science, pre-medical physics. So basically I wanted to treat cancer with radiation. So I was studying that. It slowly started to turn into me understanding that I like business and marketing, and I like, figuring out what makes people tick, I guess. So I think at that point I was slowly starting to change over my major from radiological health science, pre-medical physics, to a double major in management, marketing with with a minor in entrepreneurship.
And so virtually out of a movie line, you had a burst of passion toward wanting to do something like this. How did you know that it was the right choice and you weren't just exhausted or loopy or something?
I think if you come across your passion or have a life-changing moment like that, it's like somebody flips a switch. The amount of energy I had that night was insane. You can ask my roommate. For the next couple of nights, I kid you not, I was awake the whole night, writing stuff down, writing what it would take, and just writing what was on my mind and what it would take to make this a movement, I guess.
Wow. So that sort of source energy within you that kept you lit up for the next week or so.
It was out of nowhere. I mean, I would have a 7:30 3-hour lab the next morning, and I'd be up all night writing stuff down or finding out other projects that are kind of like this and what they're doing and what I think they should do better. And it was somebody flipped a switch in my brain, or my heart, actually.
So take us back to that moment. You realize this is something you are positive you're supposed to be doing. Did you have a certain mission in mind right off the bat? I mean, you say you just started pouring a mind dump, if you will, out of your brain, all these things onto paper, or was your initial, I guess, mission for ARC Project Now? I mean, was that later? What happened in those moments where you just like, here's exactly what I need to be doing, here's where I need to be going, and here's how I need to do it?
So it was more once I heard that line and I felt it within me, it kind of caused me to look back on my life and figure out times that I've gone out of my way with the intention of going out of my way to help somebody else. And I was writing stuff down. The next day I created a video that I was just going to post on Facebook for my friends, so if they see me going out of my way to help somebody, this video explains why. I guess the right people shared it, because within 24 hours I was being contacted from people in Brazil, Russia, Canada, and the United States. So I kind of knew that this is something people want to do. There just needs to be a community around it and kind of fostering that idea. I think the original idea I started with was just, I want to help people. It didn't really become Inspire an Epidemic of Kindness probably until a year later, when I was sitting down with a couple of people that just really forced me to dream bigger.
Interesting. So you said within 24 hours you had people contacting you from around the world. What sort of things did they say?
A lot of it was just they're interested in what they can do to help, and they're like-minded. One of the guys from Brazil actually went out into his community, bought a bunch of food, and just went under bridges and handed it to some homeless people in Brazil. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, this wouldn't have happened if I didn't put something online. So that's kind of when I knew that everything we did, or most of the stuff we did, I'd like to post it just to inspire other people to kind of do the same thing or try and one-up us, honestly.
Talk about instant validation of what it is you're supposed to be doing, to have a response like that so quick, and to have that raging passion towards what you were doing, and then to have people look at you and go, yes, we feel it too. Yes, we want to be a part. What a validation.
Absolutely. I think even if it wasn't for it going worldwide within 24 hours, I think we would have still hit this point. It probably would have been a little bit slower, because I think the website was the next thing we created right after that video, because I wanted to kind of build somewhere that a community can go and share stories and just stuff like that, I guess.
So at a more local level, who did you get involved? I mean, who did you tell, family, friend-wise, and did anybody look at you like you were nuts, or what happened there?
At that point, I guess, so right after the first semester, nobody really looked at me like I was nuts until I decided to drop out of college. But before that, some of my best friends that I grew up with since like the second grade jumped on board, because we're best friends, so we're pretty like-minded. And what I love is we all have a different reason on why we do acts of kindness or why we're involved in the project. Some of it's as simple as, I just want to help somebody else. And other people are more, they believe kindness has a healing power and stuff like that. And it does. And we've seen it time and time again of long messages of people saying, I was going to commit suicide. And then I found your guys' group, and I would just love to be a part of it.
So what was the first sort of proud accomplishment of ARC Project Now? What was it that you would say is sort of that flag in the sand, we are here and look at us now?
So for me, it was on our 1-year anniversary. So the project started with me selling my Xbox 360 and a friend donating $200 just so that we'd have some funds to work with. And then literally 1 year later, we came across this family that lost their whole house, no home insurance or anything like that. So they lost everything in a house fire 22 days before Christmas. So we kind of made it our mission for Christmas to raise all of these funds, find out their wish list for Christmas and what they had already bought and stuff like that, because they were already being supported by, what is it called? The Red Cross for like food and clothes. So we kind of wanted just to give them what they had and then a little bit more. So we raised $2,000 on the day, on our 1 year anniversary. It was just an incredible milestone for us, I guess, that we started with $200 and then a year later it was $2,000, and we went down on Christmas Eve and delivered all of these presents and got to meet the family, and they had no idea why we were there. So it was very, it was a tearjerker, I guess. There was not a dry eye in that room.
I guess so. How did you come across this family? Like, how did their story bubble up?
If I remember correctly, somebody just posted it on my personal Facebook, and I was like, I can do something for these people. And we just made this campaign with I think we had 16 days to raise the money, and then it was Christmas Eve, purchased everything, bought like a PlayStation 3 during Christmas, which was incredibly difficult, and ran down there and just spread some kindness and joy. It was a very awesome situation for us.
You know, and at Christmas, emotions are already so high and are already such at a fever pitch of goodwill, and to be able to do that, especially on the heels of Christmas Day, I mean, what a cool experience to say, not only that, you got to be a part of, but for a family to be surprised like that. I mean, you probably made such an impact in their life. I mean, who knows what you did for them, truly human spirit to human spirit.
Absolutely.
How special.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when was the first time that the ARC project now was noticed by media? Because you've gotten a lot of attention, and this is certainly how we heard about you. There's a lot of stories out there about your project and what you're doing. When did you first get noticed?
Yeah, so last year we've had a lot of great media attention. I think the first time we were noticed was actually down at Purdue. So it was probably a month after our whole thing started. We were written in the paper called The Exponent, which is Purdue's paper for actually Purdue and all of West Lafayette. We made the front page, and I thought it was one of the most incredible things that's ever happened on the face of Earth, that our project that we just started made the front page of the paper. And that was kind of a big deal, especially for us to kind of, be a voice for kindness in the area that this all was inspired from, I guess.
Right off the bat there, you get covered. Everybody's racing to sort of share in the joy that this project is going to be, implementing and pushing forward. And again, I think, wow, look at that. Another validation for you that this is the right direction. I mean, you've been very fortunate so far that you continue to get these sort of nods in your direction that, yep, you're doing the right thing. Yep, you're doing the right thing. So, I mean, I don't know if you were thinking that at the time, but hearing you tell this story, it's like, man, you just keep hitting these green lights. You're very fortunate.
Absolutely. I'm very thankful for, I guess, the amount of attention that ARC has received, especially for how young of a project we are. And, we don't have everything figured out, but what we know is that we can change somebody's life just by a simple act of kindness.
And in this day and age where there is so much to fear and there is so much ill being done unto others around the world, these sorts of moments of light, these sorts of beautiful moments that get shared with us either, by the media or, by putting a video out on YouTube. I think the reason why these sorts of moments stand out is because everybody secretly wants this stuff. Everybody secretly wants to hear these good things. They want to be a part of something special like this that does change a life, that does do something good. And we're very fond of saying on this show, there are more good people than you realize. I understand that you and your team traveled 6,000 miles by RV to dole out acts of random kindness along the way. Can you tell us about some of the places that you stopped, and would you mind sharing some stories of the strangers that you kindness crashed?
Yeah, so our map last year kind of looked like we started off from Elkhart, Indiana, headed directly to Southern California, then went up the coastline, up to Portland, and then made our way back, and we finished in Chicago. Along the way, some of the bigger things we did was we volunteered at a children's hospital in Omaha, cooked dinner for 30 families, and got to hear their stories and why they are at this hospital and what's going on in their children's life. We picked out a couple families and did a shopping spree, which was a ton of fun. In Lincoln, Nebraska, we rented out an ice cream truck for the day and went to the bad parts of town and just handed out free ice cream for 7 or 8 hours and just some terrible heat, and there's no AC in the car. It was pretty funny. In San Francisco, through a private donor that's always wanted to do a Make-A-Wish, we took 5 kids from the Boys and Girls Club and went to a San Francisco Giants game versus the Cardinals. So it was 2 powerhouse baseball teams. And we actually had some of the best seats I've ever sat in, ever. They were like VIP seats. The San Francisco 49ers head coach was actually sitting behind us, which just goes to show how good our seats were.
Yeah.
That was a great time. After that, we went to the same Boys and Girls Club, met up with 5 different kids that their families were kind of down and out, and we just invested in their lives through laptops and clothes and really spent the whole day with them and played games. Apart from some of the bigger stuff we did, I think what really spoke to myself and our team is just the random encounters we had. One that comes to mind is in Denver, Colorado. We're at a random Starbucks charging all of our stuff. We bring in a power strip and plug in like 5 laptops and phones and just kind of mooch off of their electricity for a while.
Like you do, of course.
Yeah.
Sure.
Road tripping. And some guy named Mark came up to the team and asked us what we were about and just started questioning us, like berating us with questions. And then all of a sudden broke down and told us about his life story. And our team, I believe we have a special team. We really breathed life into this guy for like 3 hours. And it was one of those random moments where you're in the middle of nowhere and you kind of realize that you're supposed to be at this exact moment at this exact time.
Tell us about your team.
Yeah, so my team is myself, my best friend Dalton, that I've known since 2nd grade. We grew up in the same school, and then we actually both went to Purdue. He's still there, and he's graduating next year. And then there's the 2 brothers, Teddy and Jacob Thatcher, and they are just incredible people with such a unique heart for loving people. I'm very blessed to be working with my best friends, but also that we all have our heart in the right place and that we're doing this for the right reasons.
What a neat thing to be able to experience something like this with people that you truly do love like brothers, and to know that you all get to share these experiences together. I mean, what a real gift.
Absolutely. I feel very fortunate, and I'm grateful for, I guess, just the opportunity to connect with my brothers or my best friends here.
I'm still hung up on the idea that you rented out an ice cream truck and just went out giving free ice cream to everybody. That is so awesome.
It was so much fun. If I could change one thing, I would add some AC to that car, because it was boiling hot, and we're sitting next to this freezer filled with ice cream, and we tried our best not to eat all of the ice cream.
Well, I think what this boils down to is, you see this sort of movement towards you and what you're doing, because there is a lot of unfortunate things going on in today's world, both in the news and in our communities. It seems like everything that gets focused on is negative, and so when you come along with something positive, when you come along with something so beautiful and so noble in spirit, everybody's immediately attracted to it. Have you had those moments with? I mean, you sort of talk about it in that Starbucks almost, where you just have people sort of gravitate towards you and say, "Hey, I need you to fill me up." I mean, have you had anybody come to you because of what you're doing and say, "I've been looking for something like this"?
Absolutely. We've had both ends of the spectrum. We've had people chew us out for what we do, but on the other happy end, a lot of times where we are, especially like college campuses, it seems like there's a lot of people that kind of know what they want to do, but they're afraid to take that first step. And I mean, yeah, we have people that kind of want a direction to go, so we kind of plant the idea in their head that today's the day. You can do anything today to change somebody's day, their week, or their life. So I'm glad that we have a very creative mindset at ARC Project, and just a different way to kind of let people know that they can go out of their way today, and it doesn't have to be a next week thing.
So your story of traveling 6,000 miles by RV and doing all these random acts of kindness, that couldn't have been cheap. How did you end up funding this sort of thing? And what was it ultimately that made you decide this is what we need to do? Let's go 6,000 miles, and that's the number. And I mean, why this journey? Why specifically 6,000?
I think it was the whole timing of college, actually. So this whole traveling thing was an idea we had the year after I dropped out. So all of my friends are going off to college, and we're all hanging out at this one person's house. And then everybody leaves, and it's me and Dolphin. And, of course, it is the middle of the night. We're walking through our friend's neighborhood, and we're like, dude, what's something crazy that we'd never be able to accomplish? And we've always wanted a road trip across America. And then Teddy and Jacob came along, and it was kind of their family's doing of having us dream bigger. And we're like, okay, how do we afford an RV? And then how far are we going? And I think pretty quickly we got lucky with finding a very cheap, beaten-down RV, and we purchased it by selling ad space on the side of it. And then all of a sudden we had a means of transportation, and then we just had to come up with an idea and execute it of what this whole road trip looked like. Basically, we wanted to raise $15,000, $5,000 to keep us alive through food, gas, and a safety fund, if you want to call it that, and then $10,000 just to bless other people with. And we raised $6,000 with Ford Motor Company with an event at Purdue, and then Kind Snacks out of New York City. Every month they give away $10,000 to anybody trying to change the world. And it's this whole Facebook votes thing, and it's a month-long competition, and we won it within the last 8 minutes, and it was a breath of fresh air, because we had maybe 3 weeks until we had to leave, and we didn't have the $10,000 that we needed to bless other people. And then this month-long competition comes by, and then we take the lead within the last 8 minutes. It was surreal.
Morgan Freeman provides. Look at that.
I think so.
That's incredible. Oh, my gosh. Again, with the validation, it just keeps all working out for you. Wow. And you know what? Good on them. Good on Kind Foods for being so generous and so kind. I mean, hey, there you go. Being so kind to give that sort of money away all the time, and to know that, it could potentially go to somebody that may not do the best of things with it. Maybe the intentions were good and then it doesn't get used the right way. And yet you and your team end up doing these insane things like running an ice cream truck and taking people on shopping sprees and traveling across the country. What a cool way to be validated.
I think so too.
Amazing. And you know what? This next one, this one's more about Alex the person.
Okay.
Who were you growing up? Where did you live? What was childhood like for you?
Okay. So I grew up in South Bend, Indiana, home of the Fighting Irish. And I grew up right across from a playground, so I spent a lot of time outside. As far as school went, school came very easy for me throughout elementary, middle school, and high school. So good grades, graduated with honors, calculus 2, and all that good stuff. But growing up, especially now looking back, I was a rotten kid, man. Just too much energy, and then didn't give a care in the world for anything other than myself, video games, and food. But I don't know, I think throughout life, and I'm very honored to have my parents, I feel like they raised me the right way, and I started realizing over the years that other people matter and put them before myself. And I don't know. All I know is growing up, I was a very rotten child, so if anybody listening has a bad kid, there's still hope for them.
You can go from being a rotten child to a decent adult.
All right, guy.
Interesting. So, I think in asking that question, I was not prepared to hear something like that at the end of it. So, rotten child deal.
I really was, because, I remember growing up and I had some friends that were so caring and all of this stuff, and I was like, no, that was never me. Until I don't know what the point was that it became not about me.
That's insane. So the flick of the switch, and it changes your life from horrible child to decent adult. All right. I think a good way, and this, having just heard that answer, I don't know if this is entirely the right thing to be asking you now, but I often think that a good way to tell whether or not we are on the right track in life is to sort of reflect on whether or not the third grade version of ourselves would be proud or would like what we've become. So at the risk of this backfiring, tell me, what would third grade you think today?
So if I was a third grader looking at my life now, I would think I was a rock star, man.
Oh, okay, good.
Traveling around in this new RV. Oh, well, now it's a new RV. Traveling around in an RV across America, getting to see a beautiful country, but also just connect with strangers and change lives. I think that's pretty cool.
I'm so glad to hear that response. Okay, good. That's the horrible you was probably looking at the glamorous side of you today. So, okay, got it. All right. And tell me, Alex, what is some of the best advice you've ever received? Or some of the best advice? Because I know it's hard to narrow down something to, wow, the best thing I've ever heard. Yeah. What about some of the best advice you've ever received?
I don't know. I know growing up, my dad would always say this thing. I come from a religious family, so whenever he'd pray that he'd be at the right place at the right time with the right people doing the right things. And then all of a sudden, hearing that my whole childhood, it kind of clicked when all of a sudden I was at the right place with the right time with the right people doing the right things. And I don't know, I feel like that's something you can notice at a given moment. Like I felt it yesterday when we were at Purdue, driving back, and we just got done with this long, long day in the sun, handing out flowers and candy and just telling people to pay it forward and that kind of stuff. And I was driving home kind of reflecting on what happened, and it was like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to, and I loved it. And I just had such a content or fulfilled heart. It was a special feeling that I knew it right away.
That's, you know what, and so true to the soul, I think, as well, just to have this feeling of knowing that you are indeed where you're supposed to be. I think it's what a lot of people search for much of their life. You know, is this where I should be? Am I spending my time the right way? We've reflected a lot on this show since the kickoff of this season about sort of the power of you as the individual, the power of the individual to change the world. And that's why when we hear stories like, that of yours and sort of the ARC project, when we hear these things, it's a helpful reminder that the power of the individual, look how significant it is, especially today where you have the internet, where you have the capability of connecting with people all over the world, where you don't have to wait for somebody to notice you in a crowd anymore. Now you can put something out there, and if it has legs to stand on, man, it'll run. And
Absolutely.
You continue to have all these validations. You continue to have all these green lights, put in front of your face. And, it draws us back to that statement you made. You are so confident that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing now. What a real treasure to be able to experience that. And to be as young as you are, you're 20 or 21?
I'm 21 now.
Wow. I mean, how cool is that you are this young still and knowing exactly what you're supposed to be doing and feeling all of these good feelings. What a unique thing to be able to be a part of.
I'm very thankful for finding my passion at a young age, and then I don't know, like you said, the feelings I've been feeling after an event or even during an event or when we're meeting with some random person that just opened their whole heart and life to us. I don't know, I live a very thankful life.
Lucky man.
I think so.
In 10 years' time, what do you hope will become of ARC Project now? Where do you see it?
Dude, that is a beautiful question that I've been meeting with people to try and help myself figure out, because I don't have all the answers, and I'm running this thing with the help of the other guys, but we don't know what 5 years looks like. We didn't think in 2 years we would be traveling the country, be on several national media outlets and stuff like that. But my hope and dream for 10 years from now is that we would have traveled the country multiple times. I'd love to do a school-to-school tour and just go, because a lot of our traveling is during the summer or spring break, like when Dalton School or other schools allow us to travel. But I would love to take this new RV and just go from school to school and just impact a bunch of people, I guess. I'm not sure about that whole 10-year thing yet. I'm working on it.
Well, I mean, you've got all this momentum, right out of the gate. And, of course, it's important. I'm sure I'm not trying to lecture or anything, but I'm sure that it is incredibly important to sort of capitalize on this momentum while you've got it and maximize it to what you, sort of want this idea and this concept to become, and to keep it rooted, to sort of pour this foundation and make sure that you have it for, the next decade or more. I wanted to take a step back for a second. So you said that you decided to leave school at one point to focus your full attention on this, and that was sort of the moment where people were like, "Are you crazy? What's going on? What are you doing here?" Was that? I can't imagine that was an easy decision, or was it?
It was not an easy decision because it was kind of a mindset of why can't I do both? But right off the bat, I pretty much knew there's no way to make this as big as I wanted and also attend school full time. I think one of the hardest things I've ever had to do was tell my dad, who's a Cornell graduate, that I'm dropping out of college to chase my dreams.
So we're sort of at this place in the country where we have a lot of people, and we're only removed, you and I, a few years in age, but you have a lot of people that have gone to school, have got those degrees, but now they can't even find the entry-level job because they don't have experience, because there's so many people that need jobs, and now the degree is not nearly worth as much as it used to be because we've got a surplus of people with degrees and nowhere to use them. So it's this bizarre sort of state that we're in as a nation, and I don't know. We did a show on it last year where we talked about how this is sort of the good lie right now, that you go to school, you get that degree, and you'll have the white picket fence, the dog, the great family, and the corner office. Everything will be fine. That just doesn't happen anymore. The narrative has not changed, and yet the reality has changed. So I almost wonder, I mean, you're going to this prestigious school at the time, you have this opportunity, you've got a dad who went to Cornell with Andy from The Office, and here you guys are, and here you guys are now committing your life to something totally different. Although I guess maybe your college major, you were still going to be helping people. You were still going to be doing what you could at a different level to assist people. But now you're doing something I think much more raw, and doing something that is affecting even more people than you probably could have in your career choice. What my question is, do you feel any guilt or shame for having made that choice?
Guilt or shame, I would say no. I feel kind of sad when I go back to Purdue, just because I miss hanging out with people my age that are passionate people, I guess. Yeah. So anytime I go back there, it's just, man, I kind of wish I was still here. But at the same time, looking back, I'm just so thankful for all of the crazy stuff that's happened in my life and these crazy stories that we have that I know would not have been able to happen had I still been attending Purdue.
Yet again, another green light, another validation that you are where you are supposed to be. And thank you for that response, because I think there are a lot of people that get hung up on the narrative that this is what you need to be doing, and they feel their heart pulling them a completely different direction. As we've learned from you throughout this interview, it's important to listen to what that heart is telling you, to what your heart is saying, and I appreciate the candidness of your response. On a whim, you decided that you were moved to make a difference and commit your life to something so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone who might be contemplating tackling something bigger, something bigger than them, but is hesitating or worried that it won't work? What would you say to them?
Fear kills more dreams than trying ever does. I was crippled by fear of, what happens if I drop out of college? What happens if this doesn't go the way I planned? Looking back, this went completely different than I planned. I never would have thought we'd take a 6,000-mile road trip in an RV and end up on the Today Show and the Steve Harvey Show. Like, that was never part of the plan. I say if you have something that you think you want to do, go for it full-heartedly. And, don't half-ass it. That's going to be my quote right there.
Don't half-ass it. You know what? This needs to be on a T-shirt with Art Project Now on the back, I think. Don't half-ass it.
Project Now, don't half-ass it. Nice cursive letters.
Kindness matters. Don't half-ass it. I love that.
That's actually good. I might write that down.
Go for it. Yes. I am thoroughly impressed with not only your commitment to this project, but it is so nice to hear just how motivated you are and how sort of convicted you are in this project's execution. It's nice to hear that you want these great things to continue to happen. It's nice to hear that you found your passion early, and I dare I sound foolish by asking this. You think this is what you're here to do? You think this is your purpose in life?
Absolutely. I mean, even looking into the future, I don't think this is a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year thing. I think this is a lifetime, like I found my lifetime mission, I guess. And it's easy for me to tell because I'm working, you know, at one point I was working a full-time job, a part-time job, and I'd come home and do ARC Project Now stuff in the middle of the night, and I was so happy. And I don't know, it's just, when you're happy with what you work, it's like nothing can hold me down.
Love it. Alex, what is next for ARC Project Now? What are you guys working on?
So right now, we were just donated a brand new RV a week ago. So we took that to Purdue and did an awesome event with a sorority and a fraternity down there. And right now we're planning for our next road trip, which launches May 14th. That's a lot earlier than next year, and it's kind of a sacrifice for some of the guys because they get out of college 2 days beforehand, so we don't really have much time with our families. But May 14th, we're going to stop at several schools along the way, and we're doing the perimeter of the United States, so it's going to end up being 9,000 to 10,000 miles.
I think you said it at the beginning of the show. You talked about how, you know, you have a keen interest in sort of video production and stuff like that. And I noticed that in everything you do, you tend to have videos that follow. Are you going to have videos of your journey around the perimeter of the United States? Is this going to be road rules for kindness?
Absolutely. I think last year was kind of a learning experience since I'm the passionate guy about videos and cinematography and stuff like that. It was hard for me to decide if I want to be behind the camera or if I should be on the front lines and be involved and put my heart out there. And so I ended up not being behind the camera at all. And then we kind of just lacked in producing videos. This year, I think we are offering an internship to this college student that sounds very interested in traveling America and filming these awesome things that happen. So this year, we're looking forward to producing a lot more videos so people can actually tag along with us and understand what's happening and where we're going.
And how can people connect with you and support ARC Project Now?
The easiest way would be to go to our website, which is www.arcprojectnow.com. We have a daily blog whenever we're on the road, and I mean, if anything big happens, we'll let you know right on that website.
Awesome. Are you guys linked up Facebook at all? Any sort of social media?
Oh, yeah. We got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, you name it, we're on it.
And your website is the gateway to all of those?
Yep. It lets you know all of those links.
Awesome. And we will make sure to link that up for you on the show notes page, dogoodbegreat.com. A random act of kindness, it starts with you. This guy proves it. Alex, thank you for taking the time to share with us your story today.
Are you feeling inspired? Have an uplifting story or maybe a moment of happiness the world should hear? Then send us your thoughts today and help other do-gooders realize that they are not alone. Email wade.wire@gmail.com and write HOPE in the subject line. And now, more Wade Wire with my buddy, Wade Heath.
My soul is not contained within the limits of my body. My body is contained within the limitlessness of my soul. I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion. I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Because everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart. We're not the avatars we create. We're not the pictures on the film stock. We are the light that shines through. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling. eyes are not viewers, they are also projectors that are running a second story over the picture that we see in front of us all the time. Fear is writing that script. Now, fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying that you can ask the universe for it. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. Why not take a chance on faith? Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire and faith leaps over it. You are ready and able to do beautiful things in this world. And after you walk through those doors today, you will only ever have two choices: love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart.
No money, no job, and a baby on the way. Just when Nelda Rodriguez thought she had nowhere to turn for help, a waitress steps in to save the day. Tonight she gets surprised with the Pay It Forward prize as Pronto Insurance and Action 4 News pay cash for kindness. Inside the Mesquite Grill in Edinburgh is a waitress with a huge heart. Sheena Espinosa is the type to serve up the shirt off her back if it meant helping someone else. Her co-worker Nelda Rodriguez knows it best.
I wasn't ready. I was depressed. I was sad. I didn't know how I was going to get any of the things that I needed to get ready for my baby, and I'm so grateful for her.
From a bouncer to walker, crib set to infant seat, Sheena donates it all. About $1,000 worth of stuff to help a single mother in need with no time to spare. Her son, Raylan Michael, is born premature.
I wanted to pay it forward because Sheena's my best friend and she deserves all the help, and she'd never second-guessed helping me.
Everybody ready? With the help of Pronto Insurance, we surprise Sheena with the $400 prize at the end of her shift. How are you?
Good.
You have any idea why we're here?
No. Food for thought?
No, this kitchen's clean. I saw a sticker on the door.
Yes, that's right.
No, we're here because of you.
Why?
The incredible things that you have done for your friend right next to you, Sheena.
What? I thank you for everything that you did. It means the world to me. You have no idea. What'd you do? Sheena, on behalf of Pronto Insurance and Action 4 News, we'd like to pay it forward. 100, 200, 300, 400 for the baby when I didn't have anything, and for helping me get this job and for everything that you do. You're a great friend and I love you so much. I'm nervous, I'm surprised. Thank you.
Why are you getting so emotional right now?
Because I do it no matter what. I would do it for her no matter what. I wouldn't ask for anything in return.
She had nothing for her son. You chose to forego a yard sale to make money on your own and gave her everything that she needed.
Yes.
Expensive stuff.
Yes, and I would do it again in a heartbeat for anybody.
Why is that?
Because I love her and she's my best friend, and I couldn't see her struggle. I couldn't see that, so any way I could help her, I will.
The giving hasn't stopped with little Raylan Michael. Shortly after his arrival, Sheena helps her friend land a job at the grill. Her boss, Jason Todd, wants her story to inspire others.
Hopefully they'll see this and they'll get the bug and do the same thing and help others that have helped other people.
Domingo Reyna with Pronto Insurance says it's the whole reason why the company partnered with the Pay It Forward program.
The Pay It Forward program is here to recognize these acts of kindness without expecting anything back. This is what we're all about here. We want to do the same thing for you. So I hope you enjoy your $400.
It's always good to help someone out because, you never know when you need it in return. So, when everybody can do that for someone else, I think the world would be a better place.
Serving up hope, it's one more way to
pay it forward.
Changing the world starts by changing your attitude. This is the home of inspiration, hope, and a better tomorrow. You're tuned in to the Do Good, Be Great podcast with Wade Heath.
Oh yeah, welcome back. Hope you're having a good time. I know I am. Hey, recently I took to Twitter to ask total strangers about kindness. And here's just some of what I got in response. First off, I asked, hey, what sort of kindness have you been doling out recently? Medea R7 said that she was a part of a random act of kindness a few weeks ago when she helped 3 kids get their ball out from under a van. She says, it was stuck and it was raining. So she jumped in, helped out, surprised them with a random act of kindness. Perla said she helped her parents around the house and made them coffee after hearing they had had such a stressful and busy day at work. But then I started to turn the questions around and I said, hey, what random acts of kindness do you appreciate the most? Kimmy Krenzer said, I relish the return smiles and the held doors, the sincere pleasantries, the extra $1 in the tip jar. Also adding her gratitude for the Uber driver who drove her home on a terrible night free of charge and kept her safe. At Yeti Gears said, I think it's a young child smiling at me when I was about to cry. Desiree Flores said, I was having one of the worst days of my life. I missed my plane, and I was sleep deprived. At the airport, a lady at a massage place offered me a free massage on the massage chair while I waited for my plane. I thought that was so kind of her. At Curly94 Styles said, well, I was having a tough time, and at my school they send Valentine's roses on Valentine's Day. My friends wanted to be there for me, so they sent me 19 roses anonymously. And I cried because I felt loved. And it was pretty emotional. So, Curly94 Styles, you said that they sent them to you anonymously, but yet you know that they sent them to you. I'm interested in that. I need to tweet back and ask what the heck you're talking about there. Because that's not anonymous. It's still very sweet, though. What a great story. At Cray014 said, I would say when a person went out of their way to buy me dinner and call me a tow service when I had lost my wallet and my phone was dead. Audrey in Wonderland said, so many people have done kind things for me. I think the kindest thing would be endless support and care from so many. We continue. Jake Nelson said he witnessed, quote, this lady at the store I was at, she was trying to buy cereal, but couldn't. So the lady behind her bought it for her, adding, then my coworker helped pay for a different customer's groceries. That's so cool when, even if you're not a part of it, you get to witness it. At Willard 1960 said one of the kindest things he has experienced was, quote, standing in line at the coffee shop and having a complete stranger smile and ask in earnest how my day was going. You've probably heard me talk about it on this show before when somebody's like, oh, hi, how are you? And they don't even care. There's plenty of that going around. Plenty of insincere care. You can tell when somebody's being genuine. You can tell when somebody's waiting for a response, when they truly do want to know about your well-being. Don't be one of those drive-by how are you people. Don't do that. At Angela on Topic said, the greatest kindness I've ever received is forgiveness. Being known and loved anyway. That is a very special kindness, Angela. Devin Haddow said, my mom and I were left in Virginia with only $40. We went for groceries, didn't have enough, and the guy behind us paid the rest. Laura Paul said that it was as simple as someone listening to her. That's how special kindness was in her life. Christine Michelle said, when someone close cooked food for me after a long day at work. mentioning it's a small gesture, but it's a pretty big one to me. Nicole Martin said sometimes just letting someone know you're there can be enough. A little kindness goes a long way. Penelope Lopez said, so much to name, including helping others without expecting anything in return, spreading love and positivity, making others smile. That is kindness to her. @SadPear said that he had been feeling down until a couple went out of their way to show him kindness after someone had been less than kind. And @Extreme Prism said, it's hard to pick a single thing, but in general, they are just always around to listen and lend a hand when you really need it. Of course, he's talking about somebody offering an extension of kindness. You know, as you can see, random acts of kindness, both given and received, are nothing more than taking the time to show you care, to show that you love someone, even if for a second. We are all connected, and we are all looking to be loved. A big thanks to everyone that responded to me on Twitter. If you want to tweet me or share one of the most memorable acts of kindness that you've been a part of, tag me @WadeWire, that's WadeWire, or hashtag #KindStory. Once again, hashtag #KindStory. Can't wait to hear how your life has been positively impacted by the gracious acts of others. The Do Good, Be Great podcast continues straight ahead.
Wade often says, there are more good people than you realize, so be a part of the community that's growing daily and unite with others as part of the Do Good Nation on social media. Stand up, be counted at facebook.com/dogoodbegreat. Join us and lead by example today.
My search led me to the study of the spiritual forces with which all of us are blessed. And it was in this field that I came upon a clue which has enabled me to help millions of people to find their earthly destinies. I want to describe my discovery in the simplest terms possible, because it will reveal to you why it is true that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve, regardless of how many times you may have failed in the past or how lofty your aims and hopes may be. I caught my first fleeting glimpse of the profound law which provides the means by which we may choose our own purpose in life and attain it while I was being coached by Andrew Carnegie during the organization of the Science of Success philosophy. I had just finished telling Mr. Carnegie that I feared he had chosen the wrong person to give the world the first practical philosophy of personal success because of my youth, my lack of education, and my lack of finances. Well, at this point, Mr. Carnegie delivered a lecture that I shall never forget because it changed my entire life and paved the way for my helping to change the lives of millions of people, some of them not yet born. Let me call your attention to a great power which is under your control, said Mr. Carnegie, a power which is greater than poverty, greater than the lack of education, greater than all of your fears and superstitions combined. It is the power to take possession of your own mind and direct it to whatever ends you may desire. This profound power, Mr. Carnegie continued, is the gift of the Creator, and it must have been considered the greatest of all of his gifts to man, because it is the only thing over which man has the complete and unchallengeable right of control and direction. When you speak of your poverty and lack of education, Mr. Carnegie explained, you are simply directing your mind power to attract these undesirable circumstances, because it is true that whatever your mind feeds upon, your mind attracts to you. Now you see why it is important that you recognize that all success begins with definiteness of purpose, with a clear picture in your mind of precisely what you want from life. Then Mr. Carnegie continued his speech with a description of a great universal truth which made such an impact upon my mind that I began then and there to give myself a new outlook on life. and set up for myself a goal so far above my previous achievements that it shocked my friends and relatives when they heard about it. Everyone, said Mr. Carnegie, comes to the earth plane blessed with the privilege of controlling his mind power and directing it to whatever ends he may choose. But, he continued, everyone brings over with him at birth the equivalent of 2 sealed envelopes, one of which is clearly labeled, the riches you may enjoy if you take possession of your own mind and direct it to ends of your own choice. And the other is labeled, the penalties you must pay if you neglect to take possession of your mind and direct it. And now let me reveal to you, said Mr. Carnegie, the contents of those 2 sealed envelopes. In the one labeled riches is this list of blessings. 1, sound health. 2, peace of mind. 3, a labor of love of your own choice. 4, freedom from fear and worry. 5, a positive mental attitude. 6, material riches of your own choice and quantity. In the sealed envelope labeled penalties, Mr. Carnegie continued, is this list of the prices one must pay for neglecting to take possession of his own mind. 1, ill health. 2, fear and worry. 3, indecision and doubt. 4, frustration and discouragement throughout life. 5, poverty and want. 6, and a whole flock of evils consisting of envy, greed, jealousy, anger, hatred, and superstition. Now, my mission in life is to help you and everyone who needs my help to open up and use the contents of the sealed envelope labeled riches. And the starting point from which you must take off if you wish to write your own ticket from here on out for the remainder of your life, I will describe for you in these simple instructions. 1, procure a neat pocket-sized notebook, or something on the order of this one here, loose leaf affair. And on page 1, write down a clear description of your major desire in life, the one circumstance or position or thing which you will be willing to accept as your idea of success. And remember before you begin writing that your only limitations are those which you set up in your own mind or permit others to set up for you. And 2, on page 2 of your notebook, write down a clear statement of precisely what you intend to give in return for that which you desire from life. And then start in right where you stand now to begin giving. And 3, memorize both of your statements, what you desire and what you intend to give in return for it, and repeat them at least a dozen times daily. And always end your statements with this expression of gratitude for the blessings with which you were gifted at birth. I ask not, O divine providence, for more riches, but more wisdom with which to accept and use wisely the riches I received at birth in the form of the power to control and direct my mind to whatever ends I desire.
For the past 33 years, I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a scan at 7:30 in the morning, and it clearly showed a tumor on my pancreas. I didn't even know what a pancreas was. The doctors told me this was almost certainly a type of cancer that is incurable, and that I should expect to live no longer than 3 to 6 months. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order, which is doctor's code for prepare to die. It means to try and tell your kids everything. You thought you'd have the next 10 years to tell them in just a few months. It means to make sure everything is buttoned up so that it will be as easy as possible for your family. It means to say your goodbyes.
All right, do-gooders, hopefully you had an awesome time with us today. I know I enjoyed my time with you. And didn't we all enjoy our time with Alex Radelich, the dude from the ARC Project now? Let me tell you something. That guy, this summer, he's going to be changing America. I'm really excited to be able to follow him, and I hope you are too. Be sure to head over to his website. Again, everything linked up for you at dogoodbegreat.com. You do not want to be out of the loop, especially if he's coming to your town with the Kindness RV. I don't know if that's a technical term or if he even calls it that, but the Big Kind RV, the ARC Project RV. Is it the RV ARC? I don't know. Somebody get me the official title. We'll put it in post. Anyway, great to have you with us, and I certainly hope that you join me on Twitter throughout the week at WadeWire. I am posting constantly. I am always in the mood to learn about you, and I love making new friends. Head on over at WadeWire on Twitter, WadeWire. Let's get to know each other. Let's do that, please. I think that's a good idea. Once again, the Do Good Army is rising. Join us, Facebook. Check out Do Good Be Great there, and go ahead, like the page. Be inspired all week in your news feed. Also, if you know anybody that needs to join up with this Do Good Nation, what are you waiting for? Pass the link along. Share it with them. Let them know they are not alone. We are standing right here in the light of good with them. Tomorrow can and will be better with your effort, and we know it's true. By the way, if you like today's broadcast, why don't you head on over, search Do Good Be Great on iTunes. You can subscribe to us, never miss a broadcast there. Also, rate and review us while you're there. Please let everybody know that the Do Good Be Great podcast is something worth listening to. It's okay. You think it's good? I don't know what that was supposed to be. Hey, if you have something good going on in your life, if you know somebody that was a part of something awesome, anything inspiring, uplifting, positive in your community that you want to share with us, get it to us, won't you? dgbgradio@gmail.com. Think Do Good Be Great. dgbgradio@gmail.com. Or, once again, you can hashtag it KindStory on the Twitters, and we will be sure to see it there. Definitely want to celebrate anything good, positive, and uplifting going on in your life. Get it to us, though. That's the only way. Before we depart, I just want to share with you this piece of encouragement. You know, the darkest hour is just before the dawn. And I think it's important to remember that even if you're at your wit's end, hope, success, the good, it's just moments away. You hang in there. We will see you right here, Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, dogoodbegreat.com, and Do Good Be Great on iTunes. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Love and peace. Until next week.
Here we We got drums and guitars.